with Wall of Sound. I'm Georgia, and I'm here with Colin from Grayscale.
And I'm Collin from Grayscale.
Now, welcome to Australia. It's your first time here. How are you settling in?
We love it so much. We were really jet lagged coming over here, but we're definitely settled in now and on the time zone and feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was having a massive chat with Andrew on Tuesday night, and he was telling me that before he came, he was having these panic attacks that these awful spiders were going to be in his room every night. Whether it's trivial or not, did you have any self reservations about coming?
No, I was really excited the wildlife, like seeing kangaroo and koalas for the first time was sick, obviously. Andrew is afraid of snakes and spiders and all that stuff like a lot. We went to the zoo in Sydney and there was like a huntsman spider exhibit
Mm-hmm.
and he hated it. But it's crazy. It was crazy to see them in person. They're huge. It's wild.
Now, obviously, this is your first time in Australia, and we just so happen to be celebrating The Heart, which is, of course, is a beautiful release. Retrospectively, though, is there ever a moment in your career, or there was a moment in your career that you just wish you could have showcased that whole album to its full potential in Australia? Or do you think falling in the same space as The Heart was good for you?
I think it was good. I think we were supposed to come to Australia a couple times, but lockdown and everything messed it up. And I think it would have been really cool for fans to give them each of our records, like, or every other record even, like to come through. But it's a shame it took until our fourth record to get over here. But it's been amazing. We're doing as many songs as we can in our set, and we've have a couple headliners over here, and we're doing some old songs as well for the older fans. So it's making up for a lot of lost time.
Yeah. So with this album cycle as well, you've brought over a bunch of vinyl, uniquely pressed for a very affordable price. Obviously, when we get those shipped, very different story. You've bought something that a lot of, touring bands don't bring with them, which is, physical collections. How important to you is making this stuff accessible so people can
Yeah,
access it?
it's super important. It's actually this newer company, I think they're Australian based, called Suitcase Records. They press the whole Australian pressing for the tour, and each one of they're all hand poured, so each individual vinyl is a different color. It's a different like mix of colors.
Mhm.
And it's super cool, and we just wanted, to your point, like the shipping costs I know are expensive, and we have a lot of fans that are still doing it, and I know it's expensive and we really appreciate it, but it felt really good to be able to have merch and vinyl like for sale, domestically here.
Absolutely. And obviously, these are on sale as well at your headline shows. You're obviously taking full advantage of the time here. You're on tour with Slowly Slowly as well. For you, how does waking up the day of a headline show differentiate your day to day life? Like from the moment you wake up that day to the moment you walk off stage, what feels different?
Yeah, I feel like that's a good question. Never been asked that. The mornings I feel are pretty similar. The main difference is like a support. You gear up to do 30 minutes, and maybe it's 7:30, 8:30 p.m. or something, and then you're done. So you kind of like mentally prepare for like an early evening show. Whereas a headliner, it might not be till like 9:30 or whatever, 9 o'clock, 9:40 when you're going on stage. So you have more space to kill, more time to kill during the day than at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we spoke about it a little bit before, but they conveniently or kind of inconveniently placed you in what's self proclaimed as the most boring place in Australia, which is Canberra. They put you there for your first ever Australian headline show, and the odds were against you. Small venue, a Tuesday night, but you came out with so much energy, so much flair, so much professionalism.
I think any show at any level, like big or small, rooms are always they're always so much fun, and there's always like a different attitude with depending on the size of the room, and um, yeah, it's great. Like we had a great time. We're just happy to be here playing venues of all shapes and sizes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess on that same note, in a room like that, there's nowhere for you to hide. Do you find a bit more pressure in that, or do you think you thrive in these intimate environments a little
Oh
bit
no,
more?
we love that. We grew up playing like a lot of punk rock shows, like in small clubs, and um, that's like awesome. We love that's like our bread and butter how we started. So we're very familiar with that, and we love those kinds of shows too.
Yeah. Well, the headline show, the set list was flawless. But obviously, the Grayscale experience itself is full of unique emotions. From one moment you're dancing, from another moment, you're bawling your eyes out. You explored your catalog quite deeply in the set list. Within a 3-song period of time, we went from Mum to Motown. How do you manage to still capture the feelings of these songs whilst keeping it kind of authentic, changing through all these different emotions?
Yeah, I mean that's just like a lot. Our music there's a lot like a diverse range in terms of like the sentiment of what the songs are about, and I think fans know to sort of expect that to a degree, and I think that's part of what makes it really fun playing shows. And there's a lot of different moods to your point of like happy, sad, and everything in between at a Grayscale show. Yeah, we're definitely proud of that.
And in that same note, to my knowledge, you played The Heart in full at that show?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So what does that mean for you coming with this massive catalog and making sure you highlight this album? How do you know what to cull? Like, is that a big band meeting? Do people fight really hard for certain songs?
No, I just think we knew we wanted to play the whole new record, and then to the point earlier of wanting to kind of do the older fans justice and play some older stuff. Like we just were like, let's rip the new record because it's like the most relevant right now. And we love playing it, of course.
Yeah.
And then let's get all like the fun old ones in as well that everybody's gonna like, all the old fans that haven't had a chance to see us in 7 years. So it was definitely not fighting. It was just more so like how can we fit as many in as possible and,
Yeah.
and, and play as many as we possibly can. Yeah.
Well, on that same note, I think this tour more than any, but any tour at all, you're probably bombarded with requests. And I can add one. Want to see what's on your mind live so badly, but I know that probably won't happen. For you guys, what is the song request you get the most often that you haven't played?
That's a good question. I think some of the acoustic, like Asbury, like Forever Yours, definitely like because a lot of the time, especially internationally, it's hard to sometimes we'll have an acoustic with us or sometimes we won't. It's hard to play some of the acoustic oriented songs a little bit on like international tours. Or if we have them, it might be one of those things where if we only have a 30-minute set, it's hard to with all the guitar changes and everything, like to get it in, like,
Yeah.
having an acoustic, traveling with it and getting it in and out for one song, the amount of time that it takes up with all the changes and everything. So I think some of the more acoustic leaning ones like Slept and Forever Yours and Asbury kind of are ones that we get requests for, but are tough to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, at least we were a bit privy to it, I think, in the Canberra VIP, because you did do
Yeah, yeah,
something
we
to
didn't.
yours
Yeah,
to
we did it.
Jason for that
Yeah.
guy. Of course, headliners aside, you are on tours slowly, slowly. And I don't want to be that girl that says, I prophesize this tour a little bit. But I have told a few friends in my time that if there's any Australian band that has a likeness to Grayscale, it's probably slowly,
We've
slowly.
actually gotten that a lot.
Yeah?
People are like, you're like Australian slowly, slowly. And this was before we knew them, and I was like, okay, cool. We'll look it up. And I've been listening to their music nonstop. I'm really genuinely a fan, which tells you I'm a narcissist
Yeah.
because no, but they're awesome and they're really nice guys. And um, yeah, we've been seeing them like most days in the airport. They're wonderful, beautiful people, and I totally see what people mean.
Yeah.
Ben and I even dress fairly similarly. He's just better looking guy than I am. But yeah, no, it's been great touring with them. They're wonderful people.
Yeah. On that same note, though, you did do a re-recorded version of "Kept Me Alive" with Ben from Slowly Slowly. Did this reimagined version of the track kind of point you in any similarities to your tone or performance?
Yeah, it's funny. I had another interview. I talked about that specifically, and I literally said I was like, there were times even with my own voice, I was kind of hard to differentiate like between the two of us. But I think that's why it was so smooth and why honestly, originally I feel a lot of times with features you kind of go like the feature comes in towards the end of the song and finishes it off or whatever. But we sort of had Ben recorded the whole thing. We just picked back and forth. I think because the vocally there's a lot of similarities, we were able to just seamlessly like bounce back and forth throughout the entire song, which was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, going from this kind of joint personality, I want to strip back to Grayscale's very individual nature. Um, your whole career, you've been intertwined with the notion of Irish culture and growing up and upbringing.
Mm.
I guess, how does your identity and association still remain, even though album from album, you're growing farther and farther from home? You're becoming a touring band, based in Philadelphia. How do you hold on to these, I guess, moments that kind of you grew up with?
Yeah, I think honestly, this record, The Heart, is so focused on who we are and our upbringing and how we are the way we are. And um, I would say going around the world and touring a ton and touring the States and UK, Europe, and Australia now, and then this is our first time here, but coming back from all that back to where we are, if anything, it's brought us closer to that because you miss it so much. And
Yeah.
then when you're in it and really the time kind of locked down, um, during COVID and everything, like really sitting in it for a long time, for the longest time I had in a long, since we became a full-time band was like really profound. And that's a lot of where the inspiration for the record came from.
Yeah. On that note as well, with Grayscale Identity, you guys have not just been known for merch, but like clothing as a whole.
Mhm.
Whether it's like the custom shoes you made, or I've had friends who have set up till 4 a.m. for your sample
Yeah.
sales. How important is it? that you kind of capture a sense of community through these clothes, not just making
Yeah,
merch.
it's definitely community based, and I feel it's so much of it started from us just going to shows when we were young and wanting quality merch. You know,
Mhm.
not having band merch that falls apart after a couple washes. We really want to give people like a lifestyle focused clothing brand.
Yep.
I got it in though. I
Yeah.
got it in again. Yeah. All right.
Yep. If there was anything on the horizon of new merch that you wanted to make, like something funky, not done before, what would you be making?
I don't know if it probably won't. This interview probably will come out before, but we're putting together these really cool like these little like clover pendants, like these little
Ooh.
emerald like gold plated necklaces that are those are coming out soon.
Ooh.
So cool, like little things. And that actually was like fan inspired. There's a fan that did this like dressing in the theme of Grayscale, whatever, and they had like a little clover necklace, and we thought it was really cool. And we were like, we should make Grayscale versions of those and have like the band name on it and everything. And so we got them made, and that's definitely something I'm looking forward to coming out for sure.
Yeah, and it's also nice to have something that's a little bit subdued, not in your
Yeah,
face.
totally, totally. And that's kind of the same sentiment as far as like a lot of our merch being more subtle in some ways, more like lifestyle-y. That's kind of something we've really, focused on a lot of the times.
Yeah. I guess just to finish up, you've done, I guess, over half your tour so far. Has there been a moment from VIP or even a moment of you looking out on stage that has felt like your own personal made it moment here in
Huh.
Australia?
Yeah, I mean, I just being here, like just being here in general with like some of my best friends since we were 14 years old, and like I just feel like a lot of the time, like us doing this together, just feels like I'm in just like overtime, like just bonus time. Like we're just having so much fun, and it's a beautiful country full of like wonderful people, and we're just like happy to be here, and I'm thankful every day for it, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, thank you for your
Thank you for
time
having
today.
me.
This has been Grayscale.
Thank you for having me.